stay at school, and it's been kind of busy with different clubs and stuff, as you know.
Yeah, this time of the year is always busy.
Yeah, it is, always.
So I just want to go over my role with you. As you know, I am the guidance counselor here at Durham. Before we start our session today, I just wanted to go over our confidentiality form. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but if you want to give that a look, I can also explain anything if you have any questions.
Okay, so this is just kind of basic confidentiality, right? Like just, I've been to counseling before, so I've been familiar with this form.
Yeah. So if you don't have any questions, just give it a sign and I'll add that to your file.
Awesome.
So what brings you in today, Priya?
Well, as you know, like I'm a big member and big part of the GSA meetings that you and I both kind of go to weekly at the school, and I really love going to those meetings. I've connected with lots of people, and I've made lots of friends through it, and it's been like a really big part of my life at school, and it's really encouraged me to be able to take the steps to actually be able to talk more about my sexuality and explore that. So recently, I wanted to let you know that I did come out to my friends and as bisexual, and it was very, very hard, very difficult, and I'm glad I did it. They were very understanding and really great about it, but I was very nervous to do that, and a little nervous now to say it again.
Yeah, well, I just want to put that out there that there's no judgment here. Like I said earlier, everything that we talk about stays between us.
Okay.
But it does really sound like you have a great support system going for you. Like starting this club, like I've been there for most of the meetings since you've started it, and that's a really great accomplishment.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. It's really good. It's a really good place to feel comfortable.
Yeah, and then you were saying that like your friends were really understanding, and that's really important that you have that support system.
Yeah.
You sound like you have a really good friendship.
Yeah, I do. I think I've been very lucky that like the school offers us the ability to I guess speak on issues related to the LGBTQ community, and I've been able to really explore my own identity in advocating for others, and it's just given me like a really great supportive group to rely on for these things.
That's
so
really good. I'm glad you have those supports here.
Yeah.
And we're always here too, the guidance counselors. So I really thank you for reaching out today to speak with me and being very honest about what you've been going through.
Yeah, thank you. I am very glad I mentioned it to get it off my chest, and I really wanted to just say it so it was out there. It has been kind of interesting though, because even though I've come out to my friends and it's been going well with school, and like no one's really like bantered me about it or made me feel uncomfortable about it, it's definitely something that I haven't completely exposed publicly, and you know, like I haven't mentioned it to my extended family or even my own family or even just friends that I don't have in the GSA community. I definitely feel that that club has been the only place where I feel comfortable sharing it. So steps, definitely steps.
For sure. So you did mention that you've been hesitant, if that's correct. Correct me if I'm wrong. To sort of come out to your parents. What is that dynamic like for you?
It's a little different. Like, I mean, visibly, I'm definitely, I'm not a traditional white person that, I guess, with a more understandable background. So, I mean, it's understandable people don't often understand where my parents are coming from and maybe why they're a little more strict than others. So my family's Muslim. We are, I would say, pretty traditional. Like, my family is very much a believer in all things that they grew up with, and all the things that they know is what they know, and anything new tends to be a little bit of a problem around the house. And I mean, I'm the younger sibling, so my brother's been through it, and I can totally see how that can be really challenging. And I mean, with anything, right? Like the way like one family might see like something come up on the news, like something really interesting, they might see it as, wow, why would that be happening? Or they might look at it a little bit differently from the point of view and the perspective and the values that they have. So they're just very traditional that way, and it just seems like I think I get very nervous to say anything to them that's unfamiliar to their territory, and I think they're very close-minded about certain things. So I just haven't gotten there yet.
So it sounds like you're very apprehensive to disclose this information to them just because of your traditional upbringing.
Yeah,
Is
for
that
sure.
correct?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I think it's really hard though because like my brother growing up has been through all of this kind of not this, but to some extent, I'm sure he has seen the way my parents have responded to things like where we live in Canada, right? So growing up in a mainstream school, like a public school, and you go to school with kids of all different backgrounds, not just Muslim Indian students, and often the issue with that is that when we come home from school and we tell our parents a story about anything, it just seems that they can be judgmental or very like just closed-minded to anything that could be happening outside of our religion and things that shouldn't happen outside of our religion. So they can be very closed-minded that way.
Yeah. So it seems like you've had a lot of experiences where it's sort of been uncomfortable to express anything outside the norm for you guys, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you were talking about your relationship with your brother where he had a similar experience. Did you want to go more into depth about that?
Yeah, like, I don't know, like for instance, one time so we're not supposed to even date before marriage, and he brought home a girl one time, and it was one of those things where like they thought it would be fine to just stop by the house and like she step in and he can run upstairs to his room to grab something, get kind of freshened up, and then they were going to go out. But my parents didn't really like that he invited her there without even letting us know, and it was very uncomfortable, I think, even for her to be there because my parents didn't really make her feel comfortable or didn't really acknowledge, I guess, that she was there, and were very tense about the situation and the lack of communication between my brother and them, and not telling them that she was coming by or that she was going to stop by. And later on, like he wanted to take her as a prom date, and they just felt that that was inappropriate, and it was something that they wish he had shared with them beforehand, but he never did, and he thought he didn't have to. So I think they were very close-minded, even just in a situation like that, like when he was going through adolescence and like, before he went off to university and he was trying to explore himself. Like it was like any time that anything came up about dating, or it was very taboo and very not okay. Yeah.
So it sounds like that experience with your brother is really reflected on you and how your comfortability of wanting to express how you are feeling to your parents.
Yeah, I think it'll be the same. Yeah. I'm kind of nervous about that too. Like I think, I guess like it's like you said, right? Like seeing what happened with him and like, being the younger sibling, you see everything your sibling does and you hope that you can do the same. But him not getting away with those things makes me more timid to get away with those things. And I think if anything, he really understands like my positioning in this situation. Like he would be someone I would want to tell this to because he is, if anything, he's been through this type of thing with our parents before too. Like he knows what they're like, and he knows that it's going to be a little challenging. But it would be nice to even tell him, like, since he's been through it.
It sounds like you have a really great relationship with your brother. Just connecting with some of the similar situations you've both been through. It sounds like you have a really great connection there.
Yeah, I definitely do. Like I definitely am lucky that at least one person in my family understands what I'm going through. So that can be helpful. Yeah.
And you were saying that earlier too, like along with your friend group here, like you feel really connected to him. So
yeah, exactly. I definitely do. I definitely feel like he is someone I could probably even say like come out to as well, like separately from my parents. I mean, my parents can be, like I said, very stubborn and very closed-minded in one direction about life and the way things should be, but I really think that my brother would be not like that at all and might be really understanding. But it is really hard to I guess work up the courage to say something to my parents, because at some point it's going to be obvious. It will be something that comes out, and I don't want it to be a surprise. Like I do respect them, and I think it's not fair to leave them in the dark about it.
Yeah, for sure. So just from what you were saying, it sounds like you've developed a really good relationship with your brother, and like you said, it happens in steps, but would your brother be someone you would be more comfortable to just sort of explain what's going on with you first, and then maybe you guys can talk to your parents together or come up with something that like you feel a little bit more comfortable with?
Yeah, I definitely think that could be really helpful. I mean, again, like I think it won't take away the nerves. Like I'm still really nervous, but like you said, like having that similar experience with him really helps, because then I can say something to him without being worried that I'm going to be judged, because he understands that like people are different, and just because it's not the traditional way of how people are brought up doesn't mean it's the only way people are brought up.
Yeah, for sure.
So I just want to be accepted, and I'm really, really scared that I won't be
Mm-hmm.
by them. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think it's gonna be also like, when would I even do it? Like, why? Like, at what point am I supposed to just tell them? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why like why I wanted to talk to you about it, because I know you come to the GSA meetings, and you seem to be so supportive of our group, and like I said, like we have such a good community there that it almost just feels like when I go home, I'm like hiding that huge part of myself, and I don't want to have to do that, and it's just it's getting to be intimidating, and it's getting to be like obvious to me that it's going to come out sooner than later, and I don't want it to come from the wrong person, and if so many other people in my life know this about me, and it's not, it's just common knowledge. I don't want my family to feel like they're excluded from it.
Yeah, so it sounds like your coming out is really affecting your relationship, or not being able to come out, I should say, is really affecting your relationship with your parents. But on the other hand, you are saying that you feel really supported at school, and even in some sense from your brother, because he's gone through a similar experience.
Yeah, I definitely have a couple, like I definitely have a good network of people, like aside from my family, like my mom and my dad, that can be really supportive. So that's true, definitely very true.
Yeah, and that's really good that you have the supports here at school and you do feel supported, because that's what we are here for. And I mean, from the looks of things, you're doing really well in school, you're doing well for yourself, so it's just a matter of getting yourself comfortable to disclose to your family.
Yeah, it really is. It's definitely something that I'm like working through, I think, mentally. Like, it's something I have to obviously decide when I want to do it and how I want to do it, but I think it's just so intimidating that I'm like I said, like I'm really scared to tell them and them think of me differently and see me differently, and then ruin whatever relationship I do have with them, because maybe they can't accept who I am. And I've heard horror stories from people that have been through much worse, and like parents have kicked them out for different reasons, and I just could not imagine that happening to me. Like, that is just so devastating, and I just would never want to go through that myself. And it's just such a big fear, like you build it up to be so big.
Yeah, especially when your parents are the ones that are there to love and support you. You wouldn't want to do anything to jeopardize that, and I understand that stress that's coming with this. But I don't know if this is something that you would be interested in, but I know that you were saying you feel very comfortable in yourself while you're attending these GTSA meetings. Would you be open to inviting your parents to come to one of them?
I mean, I think they know I'm involved in it, so like maybe they've already assumed that I'm advocating for people. So, I mean, I actually wonder if they know that I'm part of the group. I mean, I definitely bring flyers home. I'm sure that they've seen it or have heard about it. I mean, they are involved in my life, especially academically. So I wouldn't be surprised if they knew I was part of it, but I don't know if they ever have seen me specifically identify that way. So I guess that might be a good start, though, acceptance-wise, because if they know I'm in the group, then they might already, I guess, be reasonable about knowing like what I would. Like how I would interpret it, like how they could interpret me advocating for individuals that face these issues. And it's like I think they know I'm part of this group. So I don't think it would be a surprise if I did invite them and said to them, hey, you want to come see what I do at school? I think if anything, they might be excited to do that.
Yeah, and with your support, like with your friends also in the group, it sounds like you would feel comfortable to do that since you have such a good support system here at school.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely do. I think it wouldn't be a shock for them to see me acting in an advocacy or advocating role for others. I think the biggest turning point would just be when I explain to them how this is impacting me and how I fit into this club, and specifically how my sexuality, how I've discovered it and how I feel about it, and wanting to share that with them. I think that'll be the hard part, but I definitely think it might be worth inviting them to, so they have an understanding of what exactly I am doing and how other people in this community do feel when they're going through something like that.
Sure. It sort of like exposes them to a world that they haven't really been involved in.
Exactly. And like they're so traditional. I mean, I think if anything, they'd be open to at least experiencing something that, we're doing at the school, because I think it has a lot to do with being a school program, that they would see that with, I guess, some sort of like like I think that packs a punch enough, like to know that the school runs this program to advocate for people. I think knowing that the school board does that, they would be willing to hear what the club's about and what we offer and kind of the educational component about it. I think they'd be really interested in that, and it might be a really great way to start talking about it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's true. I could do that. And I mean, my brother might come too, so.
Oh,
that
yeah.
might even be better.
Is your brother someone that you would want to include in this process?
I think for sure. I think he would be so open-minded to, I guess, seeing us and seeing like the program that we have and how successful it is and how many members we have. Like he understands all that stuff. He himself was part of many groups like student council and stuff when he was in school. So I think if anything, people might even remember him when he was here at school. Like we're only a few years apart, so it might be fun for him to come by as well. And I think it's a really positive environment for my parents to see this kind of community.
So it sounds like, just from what we're talking, that you are interested in maybe inviting them. So you're running one next week. Is that something that you would be interested in? Do you have an action plan on how you are thinking of inviting them?
I mean, I guess I could ask my brother first and maybe talk to him first. Like you said, like he tends to be someone that I can rely on for support in the sense that he's been through it. So there's probably nothing I could say that he'd be surprised about. So I could really use his help in inviting them, and maybe if they hear it from him and how beneficial it would be to sit in on one of our meetings, maybe they'd be more interested in coming because, you know, he's been through it and he's the older sibling, and maybe they're more likely, you know, maybe, I'm not sure.
So what would that look like for you then? Just seeing as it is coming up, so you're going to speak to your brother. What do you think you're going to say to him?
Oh my gosh, I don't know. Like, I guess I'd just say it. I mean, I guess I would tell him, like, I think he obviously knows what I do in school. Like, we have a better, like, he understands how school works and the clubs, and like, he was so involved when when he was in school, that like he encourages me to be part of the things that are happening in school. So I think if anything, he wouldn't be surprised. I think he'd more so be interested in learning about it because he didn't do this club when he was in school. And I mean, as much as it started for me as a role to like, I guess, uplift people that like other students that were going through something like this, I think it helped me be able to validate the feelings I was experiencing and the journey I was on and trying to discover my own identity. So I think the club is really, really useful, and I think he would agree. So I think I could just talk to him privately. I don't think I would do it for my parents, but I would definitely talk to him privately.
Yeah, you would use him sort of as a support system to build your confidence to ask your parents or invite them to the meeting.
Yeah, I could do that. Yeah. I think that's much more reasonable though, so that they're not just like, you know, like immediately finding out, like hit by a storm and finding out like, oh my God, my daughter is gay, or and like they might think the worst things possible, right? But maybe if they have at least somebody that's supporting me, it might seem like a natural transition for them, or a natural thing to learn about. I mean, they definitely don't know anything about it, so this meeting could be something that they could learn about.
Sure.
The meetings are so helpful. Like they're so great for people to go to and open up. So I think it'd be a good opportunity for them.
Yeah, and then if your parents do decide to come and they participate, what do you think that would look like for you afterwards? I know you said you were worried about what they might perceive from this meeting, or they might not even make the connection, but what do you hope to see?
I guess my hope is that they'd be willing to learn. Like, I'm not saying that they have to embrace it fully when they don't know anything about it. Like, you know, like I had to learn about it. They have to learn about it. It's a learning process. It's not something that they have to immediately accept by any means, but it's definitely something if we lived in a perfect world and this went smoothly, I would really, really hope that they would be understanding to a point that I am feeling these feelings, and I hope that they would validate them and appreciate that I am in a role of advocacy and I'm doing so much for this community that being part of it is I guess, a natural position for me to be able to advocate further. And, you know, I want them to think that I'm doing something inspiring, and I want them to see that I'm part of a great community. And I think that, I think you make a really great point. Like, you know, as much as I love these meetings, like they can be really helpful for people that don't know anything about this world or this community. And so many people don't. I mean, my parents included, they know nothing about it. So it could be really beneficial for them to see how that would look, and that hopefully by the end of the meeting, maybe they're open-minded to talking about it further and learning about the things that we talk about. And
so would I be right to say that your intention with inviting them to the meeting would be that once they join and you sort of educate them a little bit more about it, that it would make it easier for you to come out to them?
I think for sure. I think if they had some understanding of what we did and like who the community members are and how often how common it is to meet people with differing sexuality backgrounds, like I think they'd be much more inclined to understanding what that's about. So yeah.
So for next week when you run the meeting again, do you want to arrange a time afterwards to sort of discuss what happened and what went on when you did invite your parents? And,
yeah, that would be really helpful. I think I'm going to be really nervous between the next week or so to kind of get to that spot. But like you said, like I said, I really want to do it in steps. And I think that, like you were saying about the whole GSA meeting being so valuable, I think this could be really, really beneficial first. And I mean, maybe it'll give me an opportunity to decide whether I want to disclose right away after the meeting or not. And we can talk about that.
Yeah, so we can book an appointment for next week. And I really want to thank you for your time and being very open with me.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. Or thank you for letting me share and making me comfortable. I guess I'll see you next week's meeting?
Yes, I'll see you next week.
Okay, thank you.